Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Rusty's Sudoku stream. I am Rusty. I'm also abashed and ashamed about the fact that I did not get today's puzzle, or well, Saturday's puzzle, posted anytime on Saturday. It was, well, unless you're in Hawaii or some of the Pacific Islands this side of the international date line, in which case maybe you consider this to be Saturday. It's after dark, I'm pretty sure. In any case, we are going to see if I can at least solve the puzzle, even if I can't get it posted on time. All right. As usual, 2 rules. If it takes over an hour for me to solve, I'll stop at an hour, or at least as soon as I recognize an hour has passed. And if this validates, or as soon as it validates, you get 20 seconds before I start trying to solve the puzzle. So here we go. It validated, so you get some 20 seconds. I'll watch a 3D printer move a print head around the model or a print. I've got a couple of prints that I'm trying to get all set up for another project. All right, 25 seconds. So I've got 2 possible ones. Oh, nope, this is a 1 because one of these 2 is a 1. This one can't be because of this one. All right, so that's going to be a 1. We got 3 possibilities here. 4 possibilities here. 2 possibilities here. For 1. 2s. One of these 2 is a 2. Got 4 possibilities here. 3 possibilities here. A 2 here means a 2 here means 2 possibilities here. A 2 goes here, that means that's a 1. Means I've now got 2 possibilities for a 1 here. That means this is a 1. On to 3s. The moment I've got 4 possible 3s here, 3 possible here, 5 possible 3s here, and here, and then no guidance on these 2 squares or these 2 squares. So on to 4s. One of these 3 is going to be a 4. One of these 3 is going to be a 4. Means one of these 3 is a 4. I've got 4 possibilities for a 4 there. I've got 4 possibilities for a 4 there. One of these 2 is going to be a 4. And then no guidance here. All right, 5. So this one is going to be a 5. This one is going to be a 5. One of these 2 here is going to be a 5. But this one's going to be a 5, so not that. And that's a 5. On to 6s. We've got 2 possibilities here. A 6 drops in here, another one here. Let's see. Got a 6 there, there. This will be a 6. This will be a 6. Not a 6 there, that's a 6, and that's all the 6s. 7s. And one of these 2 is a 7. We get a 7 here. That makes one of these 2 a 7. One of these 2 is a 7. One of these 3 is a 7. And I've got 4 possibilities here. On to 8. One of these. Nope, not one of those. This one is an 8. One of these two is an 8. One of these two is an 8. That makes that an 8, not an 8. That one is an 8. One of these two here is an 8. We've got 2 possibilities here. And then we move on to 9s. So I've got 3 possibilities for a 9 there, but one of these will be a 9, so that isn't it. One of these two is a 9. I've got 2 possibilities here as well. I've got 3 possibilities here. 2 possibilities here, and those go with the 8s. Pair of 7s. 1, 2. That with the 7 is going to be a 3. That makes this into a 4. One of these two is a 4. This is a 9. We'll see what else that gets us. Oh, one of these two is going to be a 4 now. That means this is a 3. Can this be a 4? Yes, it could be a 4. So I've got 2 possibilities for a 4 here. That makes this one into a 3. This becomes a 2. That's not, that is. And we are down to one of these two being a 2, or 1. 2. We've got 3 possibilities for a 3. 4 possibilities for a 4. 5, 6, given. 3 possibilities for a 7. Okay. One of these two is a 7, one of these two is... Alright. 1, 2... Oh, well, let's see if we can wrap up the 9s yet. We got 3 possibilities for a 9 there. 3 possibilities there. 2 possibilities here. And 3 possibilities here. Alright, now we get a 1 going in here, so not there. That's a 1, and I believe that takes care of all the 1s. We get a 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. So 2s are taken care of. One of these 3 is a 3. We've only got 2 possibilities here. One of these 2 is going to be a 3. And this one will be a 3. And that can't be a 1. That can't be a 1. So what is that? 1, 2, 3. Is that a 4? Couple of possibilities. 5, 6, 7. Well, a couple of possibilities for a 7. And a couple of possibilities for a 4. Alright, one of these two is a 4. Get 2 possibilities here. 4 possibilities here. 5, 6. Oh, hey, that becomes a 3. Means this is a 3. That becomes a 4. So one of these two is a 4. This and this are possible 9s. Same here, possible 9s. That makes this a 9. This becomes an 8. We get a 7-3 pair here. 3 possibilities for a 7 yet. Let's see. Okay, what are the other two up here? 1, 2. One of them is going to be a 3. So that can't be a 3, so that's the 3, and that's an 8. That means, no, it doesn't help us much there. We get the 4, 9 pairs in both of those. For 8 here, that can't be an 8, so that's a 4, that's an 8. That means one of these two is a 4 now. We got 7s and 3s here. 3 possibilities for a 7 here. What am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That tells me this is probably a 9. Nope, that's not a 9. That's a 9. That means one of these two is a 7. Means this can't be a 3. That's going to be a 3. This will be a 7. This will be a 3. That can't be a 9 now, so that's a 4. I get a 9 here, a 4 here, and a 9 here. That 4 means this can't be a 4, that's a 9. 7 and 4, 7 and 4. And 7 and 9. And 4 and 7. And I've got an error someplace. I'm thinking this 1 is supposed to be up here, and this is not supposed to be a 1. Let's see if we can back up to that. The error in judgment. Okay, that. All right. Let's back out that 5. Can we back out? No, I can't back out that 5. All right, let's back everything out. We are at 11 minutes and 37 seconds. And we'll work from the top down. One of these 3 is a 9. I've got 4 possibilities here, 3 possibilities here, 4 possibilities here, 4 possibilities here, 4 possibilities here and here. 8s. We've got, let's back that up. Let's go ahead and flood fill these. Instead of just saying, yes, there are these possibilities, let's log them down so that, okay, that won't be a 9 because I've got a 9 locked in here. One of these 3 is a 9. One of these 3 is a 9. Okay, 8s. Got 2 possibilities there. 4 up here. 2 possibilities here. 3 possibilities here. 5 up here. 4 possibilities here. Oh, nope, just 2. All right. And that takes care of 8. 7s. We've got 4 or 5 possible 7s there. 3 here. 2 here. 5 here, 2 here, and looks like 6 possibilities here. 6s. Looks like I've got 3 possible 6s here, 5 possible 6s here, 2 possible 6s here, 5 possible 6s here, given there, 3 possible 6s here. 5s, we get a 5 here, and this one is going to be a 5. I end up with 3, nope, 5 there, 5 here, and that means I end up with a 5 here to solve the 5s. All right, 4s. Get a 4 here, 4 possible 4s, nope, not there, 3 or 4, 3 possible 4s here. We get 3 possible 4s here. Here I've got 4 possible 4s. I've got everything open for 4s here. 4 possible 4s here and here. Over here. All right, 5, no, 3s. We got a 3 here. Four up there, 3 down here. No guidance there. 5 here. And here. Five here. 6 here. And down here, it looks like I've got 7. Twos. Got a 2 here and here, so one of these 2 is a 2. One of this one is a 2, so that's a 2. All right. Down there, I've got a 2 in place. We get a 2 here. And then one of these 2 is a 2. And with that, one of these 2 is a 2. 1. We get a 1 here. One of these 3 is a 1. I've got 3 possibles there. 4 possibles here. 4 possibles here. 3 possibles. Oh. A possible there. That is not a 1. That's a 1. That becomes a 1, cleaning up that. That means I can clean up these. So one of these 2 is a 1, one of these 2 is a 1. That makes this a 1. All right, up here we've got 8, 3, 8, 3, so not an 8 or 3 in here. That makes this 6, and that is 7. Also, not 8 or 3 over here. So we've got a 9, 4 pair there. 9, 4, 9, 4 means not a 9 or 4 there. Looks like this becomes a 3. This becomes an 8. We can clean up the 8 and the 3s over here. And then we end up with a 46949. And let's see, we got a 6 there, so that makes this into a 3 and this into an 8. And we can clean up some 3s down here. And maybe some 8. Nope, don't have any 8. Oh, we got 1 8 there, and that makes that into an 8. 8 there. One of these two is an 8. 3 possibilities for an 8 there. All right. So I've got some extras in here. Those two can't be 1s. That makes that into a 1. And this becomes a 1. Clean up that one. 493, 493, 49. 479, 4749. Okay, I've got a standalone 4 here. Let's validate that. Got a 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Couple different 8 and a 9. So yes, this is a 4. We can clean up some 4s. That ends up with a 6 and a 9 here. So clean up the 9s. We end up with a 4, 8 pair there. Clean up the 6s over here, because one of these two will be a 6, but not this one, so it's this one. All right, and let's see, 7373, so we can clean up the 7s and 3s here. Doesn't affect anything else, but that's can be critical information to be aware of. Not a 6 there. That makes that a 6. And this becomes a 6. Clean up that one. All right. Four, 3, 4, 3. So this becomes a 2. Not a 2 there. Oh, not a 7 here, because of that 7 there. That means one of these two will be a 7. Over here, we've got these two being potentially a 7. 3 possibilities over here. So it'd be nice if I could just wave my hand at one of these 3 7s and say, "You're it." And we may do that as a test process. Matter of fact, let us, oh, wait, no. This is our Q. So I got a 7, 4, 7, 4, 3, 4, 3 here. 7, 4, 9, 4, 9, go with the 7, 4. 7, 4, 3, 7, 4, 3, 9, 7, 4, 3, 9, 4, 9. 4, 3, 4, 3. Okay. Not as much usefulness out of that as I would have liked, but we get what we get. All right. 8383. And the 7 3s look like as good a place as any to begin, so let's do a 3 there. And a 7 there. That means these two are not 7s. That would be a 7. Not a 7 there, so that becomes a 7. 4 3 4 3. 4 3 here. 4 9 4 9 4 9 4 9 3 4 3. 4 3 4 3 turns this into a 7. Clean up that one. 4 9 4 9 3 7 9 3. That turns this into a 7. Oh, and this was not a 7 to begin with there. Well, hasn't been a 7 for a little while. This is now a 3, so that's a 4, and that becomes a 9. This becomes a 4, and this is an 8, and this is a 9. And that makes that into an 8. However, that's no longer an 8 up there. That's a 3. That's an 8. Down here, we get a 3 because the 9 is not right. That becomes a 9, and this becomes a 4. This becomes a 3. Nope, that's not a 3. All right. So, it looks like that 7th, that case that I tried is not the right one. All right. So I tried this one as a 3, so let's try it as a 7, and this is a 3. Okay, not a 3 here, not a 7 here. 4 3 4 8 4 9 3 8 9. There's no. Okay, 8 3 8 9 4 3 4 3 9. 8 3 8 9 7 9 3 7 9 3. All right, let's try the 4/8 here. Is that a 4? That an 8? That makes this a 9, this an 8. Not, or this one becomes a 9. These are cleared of it. This becomes a 3, 7, 4 pair here. This becomes a 4, a 7, a 3. That makes this a 4 and a 7 here. And this becomes a 4 and this a 9. This becomes a 4 and a 9 here. Clear the 9 there and clear the 4s here. Do we have any fixes for this stuff yet? Nope, everything that I would look to fix are not going to work. All right. This becomes a 3 and an 8 here. This is no longer a 9. Well, these two will be. 4, 3 pair here, so these two cannot be 3s. 7 here, so that makes this a 9, this a 7. This a 4, this a 7. This a 4, this a 3. This a 9, this a 3. There we go, 30 minutes. 30 minutes and 8 seconds with a complete restart at a little over 11 minutes. So I had the ones in the right place. Something else was out of place. All right. Say thanks to everybody. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, a great Sunday, and I will try to get a puzzle out for those people on Blue Sky. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.